Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris and I help people to find their center. In this video, we're going to finish talking about the control dramas. Today's number 4 of 4, which is the poor me drama. So for those of you that haven't checked out the other videos, I suggest that you do. It talks about the other 3 control dramas. And if you're tuning in again, welcome back. The control dramas are about how we're taught to manipulate other people into doing either what we want and to gain energy from them. And this is where all conflict stems from in relationships, in our world, because we're not aware of this unconscious programming that takes place from generations upon generations. And it's illustrated in the book The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. There's also the Celestine Prophecy movie on Amazon Prime if you got that for free. I highly recommend it. Celestine Prophecy illustrates a lot of what is going on right now on the planet, which is known as the Great Awakening. It's been predicted about by the Mayans, by the Celestine Prophecy, by the Hopi Cree Prophecy, and Dolores Cannon, and talking about New Earth is about this stuff. And part of this is waking up from the unconscious programming of believing that we have no power, of believing that we have to look to authority figures outside of ourselves, politicians, the news, and movie stars to validate our own life and to take back our power. Earth is going through her own great awakening. That's what great awakening is, a spiritual awakening. It's a collective spiritual awakening. The Celestine Prophecy helps to illuminate some of this. A control drama is something that we're taught at a young age by one of our parents. They went through programming and they're most likely unconsciously aware of these, and they fell into one of these patterns in order to gain energy, because we're not taught how to connect to the cosmos or to the earth herself to draw in our own chi, and how to connect and collaborate with other people instead of just taking all the time. So control dramas are about identifying which of these patterns you play out, recognize that you're doing them, stop taking energy from others, and you can send and exchange energy. That's what Reiki is about, giving and receiving instead of just taking. So today is about the poor me drama, which is linked to the water element or the sacral chakra. The poor me is, think Eeyore. Think Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. It's always about guilt. It's the least passive of all of the control dramas. And it's the counterpart to the most intense of the control dramas, which is the intimidator, the threat, the fire element. So the natural counterbalance to the fire element is the water element. And it's very passive, it's very yin. It tries to steal energy and guilt you into doing things when you don't really want to be doing them. It's one thing to, not want to do something, but these people try to use the water element to guilt and manipulate you. Eeyore style of attitude. They're never happy, they're always glummy, they're always blue, and they're trying to gain energy and guilt you into paying them some attention, some, I wish you would have called me yesterday. You leave their company feeling blue, you leave their company feeling drained and feeling guilted into giving your energy away, because they're saying, oh, poor me, the world's always out to get me. It's the typical victim mentality. And the water element, which is linked to this, so the water and the sacral chakra element, the sacral chakra and water element, the emotion, the positive emotion is pleasure, and it's blocked by guilt. So these people try to guilt you into giving your energy away and paying them some mind, some attention. So to people with the water element that need to work on it, some signs that it's out of balance is too much of this is you're not in tune of your own feelings, but you can't use that to help others. You block emotions, you lack empathy, toxic physical health, you have a fear of water. Too little of this element is that you have no control over your emotions. You're too wishy-washy. You're undefined. You don't know how you feel. And you're timid. They maintain no eye contact. So the positive elements of the water element that you need to nurture, the positive elements of the sacral chakra that you need to identify, is being in touch with your emotions, being in touch with your feelings. That's right, Caleb. Like you know, you need to identify whether or not you're, you have to identify and realize that your feelings are valid, but not try to guilt people into, doing things for you, or guilt people into, paying attention to you because, you weren't supported and nurtured at a very young age. This is most likely developed when you were a child because you either had somebody in your life, maybe one of your parents was an intimidator, was somebody that abused you, was somebody that, put you down and did this kind of things. Or you may have had a parent that you observed who was in a relationship with an intimidator, and they developed the poor me, the victim attitude. And that doesn't do any good for you. You have to embrace, instead of being a victim and seeing things that happened as they happened to you, they happened for you to put you on your path. Take back your power. Realize how strong you are. You don't have to be a victim to the circumstances, like being like a bob in the ocean with no direction. Everything in your life, you define the meaning of it. So by embracing and strengthening your emotions, your connection to yourself, your connection to source, by nurturing yourself, nurturing your inner child, and stop playing out these little dramas, that's how you take back your power. That's how you win. So, stop looking for sympathy outside of yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong. I love holding space for people and having compassion, but I also have, boundaries, and you need to give that to yourself. So stop looking for love outside of yourself. Look for it within. Again, this control drama is the counterpart to the intimidator. It's the victim mentality. Some of these people are Eeyores, looking for attention to be showered onto them. And, you need to look at calling this thing out. If you see people doing this to you, or if you're doing it to other people, you could say to them, "What? Stop trying to guilt me into doing things. Stop trying to guilt me into doing things as a form of control and manipulation." It's different than saying, "You know what? I understand you're going through a hard time. I understand, but you need to put the ball back in this person's court and recognize that they have the power over themselves and that they don't have the power over you." And I see this, it's pretty common for this one, people who have lacked the nurturing, like I said. Again, strengthen your water element, strengthen your sacral chakra, strengthen your connection to the water element in general. You can eat foods that are close to the ground, above the ground, like watermelon is a really good one. Orange foods, oranges, some of these are carrots are good. You can, like I said, give yourself some love and nurturing as a way to counterbalance this, and realize that you're connected to all things. So you share an energy with all things. So you can show compassion outwardly and inwardly to yourself. That's how you can get out of these cycles. Again, the control dramas are a means to gain energy when you feel drained. We were taught this from a young age to get one of these, to do one of these control dramas, to steal energy from others, and we're unconsciously playing out these freaking, energy vampire tactics when we're not taught in school how to meditate, how to connect, or do Qigong. Qigong is, the Chinese version of yoga. So yoga is India's version of Qigong. Connect with breath, connect and exchange energy. That's how we can stop these games from happening, putting up boundaries, putting up your shields, and recognizing which of these yourself you're playing out, which are the elements that you need to balance out yourself, and what you're looking for outside. If you're looking for nurturing from somebody else, you're looking in the wrong spot. You got to look within for that stuff. Everything you're looking for in a relationship, you need to start to give to yourself. So make a list of 3 things that you want in a relationship. If it's more fun, if it's more, nurturing, if you want somebody that honors your freedom, look for those within yourself first. And then you'll meet a partner that will, mirror those traits, because that's all people do, is they mirror back to you what you need to work on. So these control dramas are unconsciously ruling our society and consciously ruling us for too long. And the Great Awakening is happening now, starseeds. It's happening now, light workers. So stop being the Eeyore. Stop guilting other people into doing what you want, or stop, being guilted into doing things that you don't want. You should always go within. You should always look within yourself and do what feels right to you. Now, if you say you're going to do something for somebody and you can't, well, hey. Anyway, so you can't play this game. You can't. Most of us are going around unconsciously doing that. So if somebody's being a poor me to you, somebody's playing the victim attitude, you can call them out within yourself first, and then you can find ways to call them out, like, oh, you don't need to guilt me into holding space for you. You don't need to, try to manipulate me and control me in an attempt to hang out with me or do something. So you can connect and send and exchange energy. So by breaking this pattern, by breaking this cycle, you take back your power. You look within and you connect to your heart chakra. And you connect to your passions. Again, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Peace, unity, and compassion.